Hey, what's good, guys? We just had an amazing live analysis session this morning. We got into a trade on the US 30 and it played out amazingly, up about 190 pips at this point. We do these sessions every Friday morning. We don't usually post them for the public. We've got them from the inside for our team, but this one's coming up so you can enjoy it. So enjoy the whole session. I go through analyzing all charts, gold, NASDAQ, and the Dow, and show you exactly where we got in. And enjoy the session. Reach out if you have any questions. All right, let's get into the session. Also, aside from the US 30 trade, which I took on demo during the live session, a lot of our members took it on their live accounts, but I was already in this gold position from before we started our Zoom. Exited for 100 pips on one position and 50 on the other, right before Trump started speaking this morning. But anyways, on to the rest of the session. Enjoy.
Morning, Elise. Can you hear me okay there? Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, let me just try and move some things I can see. So, let's do this. Let's start at the very beginning, to quote my dad's favorite movie. If you know that, you already know. Okay, so, daily checklist, guys. Let's start there. Sharing that. So first thing we need to check is news. I know for a lot of you guys on here right now, that is well baked in. I checked last night, reload it and check again, and I should really share multiple things. This panel open here for that, and share Forex Factory, ka-chink. Did I share the right thing? No, it didn't swap, sorry. That one, there we go. So, Friday morning, we had something going on at 12:30 a.m. Unemployment claims. That probably caused the chart to go a little wonky earlier. Apply these filters, we'll see a whole lot more. 7 a.m. is the next thing. It's a yellow folder. Consumer, nothing, basically nothing significant. Oh, Trump speaks at 8. Okay, buyers beware. Yeah, I am just gonna mark a vertical line. I'll be making a note by then. Probably be on the way with family stuff for sure, but I'm just putting a big vertical line on my chart for that. And gonna leave that there and go back to sharing the daily checklist. So after news, guys, we want to zoom out and check higher time frames, fibs, and levels. So let's get back onto the right trading view chart, which is going to be this one for now. Just going to look a little busy. And there's our Trump line. Let's make him a bit more red, and let's make him orange. I think that's his appropriate color. Did that work? No, it didn't. There. Haha. Right. So at the moment, I've just got these all set up. 1 minute on the far right, 3 minute in the middle, 8 minute on the far left. And higher time frames, let's go to our, well, let's just start this daily. It's on a 1 hour there normally for me, but chink, chink. So daily, you can see that gold is just huge run, lower highs, higher lows, compressing, probably eventually going to break out. Trend force on that. Wow, I've got a daily buy signal. And that's calling almost an all-time high, not quite. Bit of traffic right here to deal with. Louise, yes, lots of Lakers, mariculture, and geothermal geysers. Okay, so let's just turn them off, go down to the 4 hour. And in here, I mean, you know, unless you know you're looking at a 4 hour, it could be anything, right? So had the buy signal fire off on the 4 hour at 2 a.m. on Saturday. That was after NFP, so that big line there is NFP last Friday. Saturday morning, that is calling an all-time high for us. So let's see how how that goes down to the 1 hour. Yeah, still just grinding inside this upward channel. I've got it marked out somewhere else, so let's do this. Let's turn that off. Is this? No, I don't have the channel in here. This is just a real big zoomed out analysis that I did. So, because just checking a couple of things. Okay, gold is potentially playing out on this buy signal. It's given us a 3-minute signal now as well. 8 is, at least at 21, is pointing in the right direction. So this could continue, guys. It's obviously been in a giant uptrend. Came back down a little bit lower than the 233. So let's see, we've got a bit of clearance to TP1 and 2. We start hitting that 8-minute red zone around TP1. Heikin-Nashi candles for that is this 1-minute chart here only. Looking pretty good on that trend zone, to be honest. It's opened up. Yeah, when the 1-minute signal fired off, we weren't quite in agreement on the 3, but I was also looking at the 8. So just gonna check if how this is running along. So we'll let this thing keep going. And it's looking, yeah, obviously late at this point if you're looking at entering on that one, because the 3-minute signal popped off back then. So I guess this first engulfing rejection, so this pullback and then this engulfing candle off the zone can sometimes be, well, when there's a lot of momentum, that can be a very good indication of trend's going to continue. But we also have some bearish divergence down here happening. So this higher high and this lower high on the histogram means pullback. So watch for another pullback into the zone. Let's go back to this higher time frame chart quickly. So on the weekly, I decided to go all the way back and draw these cycles on gold. And I posted these in the chat a couple of days ago. So, man, I just looked at full house. Cool to see you all, guys. I know Dad, I don't know what the time zone is in Taiwan, but he's over there. He landed, 11-hour flight pretty late last night. I think 9 o'clock last night. So we've got this cycle of gold from this high to low. Let's just check when this was. This is going back, oh my gosh, this is the 80s to 99. So there's like a 7-year cycle from high to low over there where gold was a mere 800. I think the ETF got announced somewhere down, when was it, when gold was $400? That'll be worth a Google. I know that prices never got returned to the lows since that ETF. So anyway, that's that cycle. Then price broke up, and then I drew just a few fib zones which I was looking out for, like marking out significant levels and extensions and things. So you can see the 786, 886 zone, drew that across. Price had its first sort of rejection near there, pull back. This trend line is a little wonky. I was looking at these lows and I try to see how far back I could take it. So it connects to there and then it comes back to this high. So sure enough, price broke that previous resistance and then made it its new floor. Bitcoin's doing that kind of thing right now. Ran through, cleared that zone, runs up, comes back down, tests, and then we're into this next big zone over here. And then we're looking for these extension levels, which we obviously got over there and then up here. And then we're into this cycle, which is going from, well, let's just go from this high. That's 2011. So I suppose that low there, 2015. And, you know, obviously we've never come back to these lows of $1,000 an ounce. And then again, just marking out some zones. This fib over here, giving us these extensions, but then at the same time, a couple of different trend lines I had drawn here from when price was breaking out. So initially we would have had this one in play from that low, which was respected until we broke out and then retested, and then had another nasty retest all the way down there. Then broke out, came back for that one, and then exploded out. Fib zone in here marked out because I liked that retest. So I saw that didn't really come into, we rejected it there, broke through convincingly, came back, and then when we finally were ready to launch, we had one last retest of that zone and then we were gone. But once we're out of this zone, I noticed this really cool channel. So I'm going to get out of the weekly and go to the daily to look how gold, since 2023 in June, 2 years ago, has essentially been in this channel. You look at highs, and then broke out and tested and have gone up. But then we've got obviously lows and lows, and this maybe could be a little tighter. But essentially, if I can draw a trend line, that's cool. But if I can draw a parallel channel, that gives me way more information. Because if we were, obviously this is one point I drew it far back enough too, but initially was, all through these kind of zones like this, and I'm seeing all these multiple touch points, here and through here. Then I'm going to go, okay, right, what's on the other side of that? And you could, depending on how you wanted to do this, you could get pretty tight, but I like to have it at the extremes. So that's the extreme low. So anywhere in here, you'd be aware that price could come anywhere towards those channels, which I thought was pretty interesting because it's just been grinding up since that low point to where we are. Where are we? I don't know if we're up 850 days and 87%. From 1,800 to 3,000, almost 400. So that big channel puts us into what you can see now is what I would call a compression, big pennant, and is waiting to break out of this. So going down to the 4 hour, we're going to see, and it looks like gold might be doing its thing. There we go. Whoop, whoop. Running up. Playing out nicely. Let's let it do its thing, and I'll take a squiz at the NAS and the Dow soon. This is not what I've been watching much lately, guys, as you can tell. But 4 hour, all-time high, going back to April, and since then, first pullback. And look at this pullback, guys. This is why this is why this channel, this is why it is where it is. So what was our initial point all the way down here? All the way, and I adjusted these things slightly to tighten them up, but these multiple touch points, not crazy accurate, but I've got them in places where I saw enough to go, okay. But then once we broke out of it, retested the top of it, formed this lower high, came back down, didn't quite come that low, but then sure enough, that's where we had a huge rejection on the 31st of July. Double bottom, NFP shot us out of there, and I've got this kind of fib within a fib. So this one going from high point to low point gives us the 786, 886 zone up here, which is where we have so far rejected once, twice, and hoping we're going to be able to break through it this time. And then this one right here, is from this one high to that low. That's why they've got it like a pink box setting. So we've got a lot of different rejection levels, obviously, in this zone, because we've got this trend line coming down, this 786, 886 zone, and the 786, 886 zone. So 3,402 is going to be a bit of a wall. Brendan says, watching the Dow potentially about to break out. Okay, cool. Let's go take a look at that quick. So this is a 15-minute chart. Yes, we've definitely got this falling wedge. So I've got this over here. And yeah, had a huge drop down. Let's see. Yeah, so if you were looking to take this, guys, at the moment, that's what's going on right there. Let's just make this a little bit thicker so you can all see it a bit more. Yeah, I like those look at that MACD, 8 minute even crossed over all the way back over here and has remained blue. 3 minutes blue, the 3 minute MACD is blue, the 3 minute main trend zone looks like it could cross over soon. Sorry, my little boxes are a little bit small on here. And what I should be doing is adding our fancy dancy new trend table. So I've got that in there, and that's not going to help anyone's eyes. Being that size, let's make you large, and that's also, there we go. So you can see gold is still the trendiest, and then Bitcoin and the Dow is, to be honest, got a little bit oncoming traffic. NAS might be a little more friendly. Let's just make this trend table a little bit bigger. Large, so at least we've got one there in the center. But this is looking potential. Let's just stick him on high Kanishi. Check chat. Good to see you all though, guys. Good turnout this morning. I appreciate the faith and the belief that I was going to wake up after my, I don't know what happened to my alarm last week. But yeah, you can see this wedge pattern here. We've got these lower lows, and on the divergence front, you know, looking like my magnet's going to just play some games with me. But you know, we've got these lower lows here and all of these higher lows over here, and they go further back. If you know, can see the divergence going back all the way to there, which I want to try something I haven't done in a while. That's no, that's not going to work for me, is it? No, but that's fine. You can see the same deal. A huge divergence on the 3, and that 8 is just turned up nicely as it is. So this breakout right here could potentially go depending on the dollar. So DXY, I'm going to show you some things that I've been looking at here. Sorry, let's just turn everything off and go to the 15-minute. That'll do. So on the DXY, look, let's actually just go further, make this a full lesson. I've got a huge fib on this thing. I've got to go out further for that. Go and spend some time on the dollar. Go learn how this thing moves. Go see what it's done in the past, different seasons, where it's at, etc. Because the high I'm drawing from goes back to 2022 to the low that we're on here, and yeah, that might have been when this fib was, oh goodness me, was somewhere else. But for now, we're still in this wedge down here, and you can see lower lows, higher lows, the big divergence there on that daily, going down to that 4 hour. Sorry, there's a lot of lines here, but you're going to see why soon. This big trend line going back to February this year that the dollar has just been stuck underneath. So that was pretty much, I think, Trump's inauguration. Yeah, up here. Yep, the height of the dollar and the height of Bitcoin. I think everything kind of dropped at that point. So the dollar, let me see, check this, is November? No, it's September. So he came into office here, gapped up. There's a gap. So the dollar gapped up, and Bitcoin had a huge run then as well. And yeah, I know I can't quote any other charts right now, but anyway, then from his, everything ran up into his inauguration and then ran down. So we've been grinding down, but you can see, yeah, we broke lower, came above this red trend line, came back down for the retest, and that's why I've got this line across there. Shoot down to the 1 hour. I've got this big kind of sort of head and shoulders, half Batman thing happening. And if we go down to the 15-minute, that huge drop off of his NFP. So I just lost it, but hopefully you can definitely see this wedge. So there's that huge drop off. Let's just go check the Dow. Yeah, looking pretty good, guys. Nice little retest of the zone. That MACD, yeah, we're just waiting for the 3-minute MACD and the 8 to turn around, so that's going to cause some pullbacks. But it is getting there. We've broken at least this one trend line going back to 4:30 this morning. Just depends on what the dollar does. So if the dollar drops, that could, well, we'll see. I don't watch the inverse relationship between those two too much. I definitely watch gold. And that has now given us pretty much almost TP3. So congrats to any of you guys who've gotten that. There was that rejection. Look at that. So there was that divergence that I called out. So we had that pullback to the averages, engulfing rejection. So this candle engulfed that one. So that just means that this one's bigger than that one. When you pull back into a trend zone or a moving average and you get an engulfing candle, that's usually a very bullish signal. And sure enough, buyers entering the market on that one with our diamond. And then we did have divergence because of this higher high and the lower high on the histogram over there. And so I said pullback, and sure enough, we got a little pullback, tapped the R3 weekly, and then gone. So that was pretty cool. And note also that pullback came halfway into that candle. That's something you might see sometimes quite often when you get a big, sort of call it an imbalance. I mean, gold, the wicks don't tend to shake hands as much on gold, I've noticed. So you do end up with imbalances like this all over the show. This one at least came back and folded. But anyway, that's coming up to what looks like a Asian high from yesterday. This red zone. But sorry, I'm dancing all over the place. But let's go back to the DXY because we were watching the potential. There's that pullback there on the Dow. So this wedge, you can see from that huge drop off from NFP has just been coming lower, 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 lower. One little breakout and back above. So I'm just drawing this trend line beneath here. And this 15-minute chart at least came above, below, but then we've got quite a convincing, and hopefully this isn't too small for you, but we broke out, closed above, came back down, retest, boom. So that was pretty convincing over there. That's just, you can see these sessions of when this was all happening. So yeah, interesting that final little sell-off there was when London was in the picture. So there's New York's low. So yeah, coming back into trend force, we can see that on the 15-minute chart. Pull back into the POC in the 55. So now just giving us, a little bit of reverse head and shoulders there. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, I suppose pulling back into that zone there. That was, I guess, a little premature pullback, but man, that just dip and gone. So 5-minute chart, let's just check that Dow. Yep, there we go. Dow's now starting to potentially move. Good angle on that 3-minute MACD widening. So if you're taking this, guys, that's like I would say potentially a little at this point. And look, I haven't been watching the Dow at all, but see if the NAS looks any similar. No, that's just red and bouncing. Oh yeah, well, we've got some nice double bounce. Okay. The NAS could, now that it's, if it can hold above teal, same thing, divergence there, lower low, higher low, bouncing off whatever key level I had in play from, I don't know when. Oh yeah, that's not there. Okay, previous all-time high. Yeah, there we go. Previous all-time high, going back there. So that's why, and it's a key level. You can see we'd like tapped it, rejected, tapped it, rejected, tapped it, rejected. So that's why I kept that level, and we just bounced off it. So the NAS also could, guys, go from here. I'm not going to get a buy signal that meets the rules with a 3-minute, but yeah, let's just put on Heikin-Ashi candles for him and see. The Dow is leading the way, so hopefully some of you managed to get into that. Gold is still close to TP3, and there goes the Dow. So hopefully, Brendan, good call on that one, that wedge. This thing is looking good. I don't see much on the divergence front. I just see a pretty massive drop off and potentially wanting to come back up. So there's a 600 pip drop since NFP last week. So I've come back down, retested some levels. 15-minute chart here that I'm looking at, just to, oh, no, not that. So you can see here we got pretty close to this New York session level here, but not quite underneath it. Either way though, stop hunts are ideal when they're precise underneath, but there's still money down here where we just tapped into, so they still would have grabbed some liquidity, and that is moving. Come on, let's see how this is going to behave. Sorry, that was just clicked onto NAS. Sorry, there we go. All things bright and beautiful. Look at that trend line go. Trend zones. The 8-minute. We still might get a pullback here when we hit 43,900, because we've got the 8-minute still turning. That counter trend signal, at least on the 1-minute chart, did give a nasty little pullback into the zone. But price action, guys. Trend line break, falling wedge with divergence, and this is why I mentioned at the live event, which I'm still editing because there's multiple camera angles and all that kind of jazz. I mentioned double, triple divergence, etc. So it's like, here's your first lower low from here, and your next, or even here, there's divergence there, lower low, higher low. Was at the beginning of the reversal? Not necessarily, because we came lower. Again, lower low, higher low put in. Is that the beginning of the big move up? No. Came back up, rejected 0. Here we got above it on the MACD, but then again we put in another lower low, another higher low, another lower low, another higher low. So it's like, how many times can you get divergence, right? So this is on the 1 minute chart. At least that's why it's good to look at these other ones, because here we can just see a nice widening trend zone, and at least this point gave us that next decent trough. Oh, excuse me. 3 minute chart here, turning bright green for us, and this is when we've actually got a nice trend zone that are, you know, both cutting through 0 together. Happened over there and gave us a bit of a move. And what was that? I mean, from that counter trend signal, I mean, it's still 50 pips in that move, but here comes that pullback, because yeah, 21 on the 3 is not quite the right angle yet. Rejected that 55 I was saying, and yeah, let's see if the zone can just kind of pull down and get some going from there. Let's check if NAS is getting any more set to do the same. I really like that we just pretty much tapped into that key level, guys. That's pretty cool, with the lower lows, higher lows, and getting above teal. So we're now hopefully above and holding above. Could quite easily, obviously, still come down and give us a bit of a triple top, triple bottom, head and shoulders, but yeah, slowly turning on the 8. Nice dojis. 3 minute divergence is there as well. Just a lot of oncoming traffic with this 3 minute trend zone. Zooming out. Now it's got an all-time high up here. This is a 15 minute chart. And if you ever can't tell, guys, like if I'm looking at a split, I mean, I thought I'd just type them on you so you could see, but most of you should know this, but if you don't, you can look in between where it says, and you can adjust what your labels say in your settings, your chart settings, by just getting in here and getting onto like a symbol status line and going, you know, logo on off, title on off, open market status, that little thing. You can adjust all these little things. Titles, that takes away the indicators. So I once had someone who could not find their indicators and they were on, but titles was unticked. So where it says gold 1 minute, black bull, gold 3 minute, gold 8 minute in between. So that's telling you a time frame you're on right there, in case still having to ask. So yeah, gold sitting. Sorry, I just want to check this rejection zone with what we are bouncing into, and I know this is going to look pretty busy. 8:15. Yeah. So where does this go back to? All the way over there. So that's Asian Sydney session. Oh gosh, that looks terrible. That is going back to the 24th of July. But I just knew that was our next high that we did actually clear overnight. No, we cleared. Yeah, okay. That was just last night and during London, and then we had that aggressive pullback. So we have actually, that level has been cleared out before. So I can actually delete him. But now gold's making a decision if it wants to clear this red zone. Sorry, Brendan, you were saying according to the falling wedge typical pattern, there is likely a pullback for another entry opportunity. Very cool. Okay, so yeah, well, that may have been it. There's your doji, 1 minute, flat top, doji, flat bottom. So that could be us there. Still red on us 55. But man, I like this. 3 minutes now. Potentially gonna hop through 0. 8 minutes, still nice and smooth. Oh, excuse me. Good to see you all though, guys. Anna Marie, good morning. Danny, good pips last night, bro. Dave, DT, Elise, Louise, Mark, Nanette. which I know it might be Vinod. Sam, good to see you. And Sam's iPhone as well, Sam's phone as well. Double dipping. Sheepdog. Tim, the other Tim, good to see you. And Wayne down in beautiful Wanaka. And another Vinod, good stuff. Okay, well, stoked to have you on here, guys. Just gone 6:01 a.m. So let's just see what's what. As you can see, just saw the Nikkei as well. Just go see flicking between orange and green. So we're just almost above all the averages on the Nikkei. Bitcoin, sheesh, I haven't looked at that on here for a little while. Let's just check for kicks and giggles. 116, we had a nice breakout on it. So this is just XRP, guys. I've been watching real closely. All-time high 366. Broken. I've been messing around with some different lines to see how many test points I could get. So this red one is in there, but almost had to retest that overnight. Look, if you're not into crypto, don't worry, but XRP could run 20% just to its all-time high, which I have no doubts will happen in the not too distant future. This looks a little messy, but at least Bitcoin is now starting to get out of there. Just leave him for now and go back to where we were on the Dow. And I haven't shown it, but I have got the split. I just haven't been looking at it too much lately because I've just been really focusing on gold a lot. But I have got the DXY on the bottom left here and gold. This is my old colors, which I still miss. But with all of Dad's updates, I've just reverted to keeping his. So I got gold on top, DXY on the bottom to just further accentuate the very often inverse relationship. You can see, it's going up, 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 while gold's coming down, down, down. We get that NFP and gold DXY goes. Oh, hang on, when was this? No, this is just last night. You can see that gold dip, dollar up, and so they really do seem to track with each other quite nicely. Then NAS over here, Dow over here, looking pretty correlated, as you can see. Dow having a bit more of an aggressive drop. Old MACD I've got down here just to get bullish divergence is ticked on. But another dip into tapping the 21. Sam, I couldn't get the sound, so I had to jump on the phone. There we go. No worries. So this has obviously got a lot of room. And if I take all Fibonacci actually candles, there's probably a lot of imbalances in here and gaps and things. I don't see gaps, but definitely imbalances. And there was an indicator for it. All these pivots. Let's just go find it. Do I have it? Lux fair value gap. So you can go and if you put on this fair value gap icon indicator, it draws all these automated gaps to you, which I stopped using a long time ago, but it kind of just at least helps your eyes move to a zone quickly if you're missing it, can't see it. But when price moves aggressively out of a zone, it doesn't take them away. So that one was generated, price came up, filled it, so that one's irrelevant. Price came back down, kind of came into it, dropped down, came back into it. It doesn't tend to necessarily fill it, but you can see halfway into that candle, what did I say earlier? So dropping down, and these are all now just potential gaps that could get filled. And when I say gaps, I mean more like fair value gaps, not necessarily full-blown candle air gaps where prices gapped. So that being the difference, but could muck around with that if you want. I haven't used that in a very long time, but either way, this sell-off was significant from there. We're still 500 pips down, so this wedge is a pretty big pattern. Divergence is in play for us to potentially make a move up. The DXY, I'm not too sure how they're gonna look. I've got a lot of faith that the DXY should potentially break out of this bigger wedge because it had, well, let me rephrase that, it has, and given us that retest there, and now it's potentially ranging. Well, not potentially, it is ranging, but now that it's broken out, little retest, it could come down and give us a deeper, painful retest. Not that any of us are trading the DXY, but that would be that's the norm. It could very easily come down and tap there and then go. But when this shoots up, yeah, I'd say when this shoots up, gold in my mind will most likely be at one of these clusters of rejection, because if the dollar breaks up, gold should break down. And so if we get to this zone, gold could reject and come down and give us one more retest and compression before gold decides to do its thing. That's kind of my thesis at the moment. But yeah, DXY the moment on that 5-minute chart looking a little bit boring. Okay, so NASDAQ in here, still on the zone. Now at least the 3-minute is the right color on that trend zone. And the 8-minute, again, causing that pullback because that's still not pointing in the right direction. So they're flat, if not turning down still. You've still got a dark red light on our trend table on the 8, which is our mate, as Dad would say it. And yeah, just pulling back a little bit deeper. Starting to possibly hop over there. But yeah, could even come down and give us a better retest of the wedge. Let's check out that. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. The NAS. Here we go. There's that triple top, reverse head and shoulders. It's a sell signal actually, which gave us a little bit of a nasty stop straight away. And so look guys, I mean, you'll very often see that like that one right there, it didn't meet all the rules because the 3-minute you can see was still blue on the MACD trend zone. So that's your first reason why that pullback took place, potentially. Well, not the reason the pullback took place, but the reason why that signal failed, because you didn't have a full score with that one. But by the time we got to here now, we haven't got another signal, but we're also still the wrong color. Oh, let's see. There we go. So now double bottoming on that very key level. So the old me would have looked for now a lower low and divergence and just tapped go on the divergence rejecting a key level. And let's see. It would not surprise me if we do get a rather significant bounce from there, because we've got all the divergence in play. Going back to there, and here. So this might start to set up, considering that the Dow has already done that, and that's now starting. You can see it's given us our wedge as well. But yeah, very key level, guys. Rejecting it back here on the 5th of August, bouncing, rejecting off positively. So action there. And it was our all-time high that was created on the 24th of July. So it's definitely a level. But yeah, it's still very red on this trend table. And we're not going to get a buy signal until we get back out of here and break above, this trend line that's being drawn for us. So, this one there. So just, put an alert on it, do something like that. Once per bar, it'll get nice and annoying. So we'll know when it's a little bit safer to get into this thing. But I can tell you now that it would not surprise me in the slightest if get some nice dojis down here and just zap on out of here. I mean, that key level isn't like a concrete wall necessarily, but it's definitely a key level. Just see what's going to happen. So it's 5-minute, 3-minute DXY, gold still, there we go, TP3, very cool. Yay, that's cool. Very cool. So clearing. Now we've got green zones on the 3. 8 is not yet. But you can see that blue line as the top of our big channel. Sorry, just dancing over to gold. Don't have that channel drawn on there. Here. And it's just tidied up. So there's the top of the blue, like, you know, the big channel I drew from earlier. No, sorry, it's another one. Didn't show you this. So guys, this is my retest opportunity in the Dow. Okay, we can come back to gold. Dow, yeah, red trend zone. This thing might now come and give us a full-blown dip. 3 minutes still there. We could get a little bit of a rolling up, flat. Ugh. 8 minute looks nasty. This could give us that retest even, but let's see. Could go. Remember, that was obviously a counter trend signal. 233 is up here. So, I mean, if there's room to run even to the 233, there's 88 pips. And the 55 is the one thing in the way that's still bright red on the 3. And that is, you know, 40 pips. So you're not going to get a buy signal anytime soon because we're going to have to come right around. 13 is going to have to cross 21 somewhere around here. So yeah, if we get one, then we still got to look at that, rejecting 43,900. Dad's big round number indicator shining for us. Rejected it there, there. Have, no, yeah. But you can see like how helpful it is having divergence, because if you're in that counter trend signal, there was your higher high, and you got your lower high on the histogram, but you got your double across there. So lower high, crossover after that, pullback. So 3 minutes still got, you know, some width to it, and the 8 minutes still there. So I think it wants to go. Brett, I've got a 4-hour trend line splitting that in two. Price already tested it. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, this is still looking rather bearish on this particular moment. Just wait for some safety. Tested twice already. Okay, well, the other thing, so we checked the high time frames. We, you know, on that daily checklist, we checked, where did my thing go? There it is. We checked some fibs, we checked some, you know, 15-minute things, and then remember the next thing, it's always necessary, is to reread those rules and just bake them into your brains, guys. So I've got that on my desktop too, which you should all have somewhere nearby. This is a nice fancy new one. But looking for trend zone alignment. So we get that 1 point, obviously, for the, well, we're only going to get a buy signal when we've got trend zone alignment on the chart we're looking at. But we'll get that point for 3 time frames higher. So when we're looking at the Dow right now, we've got the 3 minute trend zone is blue, at least right now, top and bottom. And then angle 21, 3 time frames higher is flat on the Dow. And space to TP1. Well, we don't have a signal yet, so just remembering we need to keep those baked into our brains. So let's get back on TradingView and just move that slightly out of my way. So when we get a signal here on the Dow, at least now, when that counter trend signal went off, we were, you know, red on the trend zone, but the MACD was starting to get in the right place. So this now, if this turns around, we should still potentially have blue. So we'll get a point for T angle. Well, depends on where this 21 is, but I can tell you now it's likely to be flat and kind of pointing up. So we might, I mean, the 21 is a dark green light. Zones, we're underneath all of them pretty much because of this giant drop off. But space, if we can clear, once we're past the 55, we've got some space, but I can tell you now there's a lot of moving averages in the way. Oh, yep, there we go. Thanks, Brendan. NAS continuing to drop, Tim. I can see that. Okay, more EMAs, ahead on high time. Yeah, exactly. So, and Brendan dropping that wedge pattern in there for us. So, to help you guys see that a little more, I can share that at least so it's on the Zoom. So yeah, this wedge pattern over top right. So Brendan just dropped this in the chat over here. I wonder if I can zoom into it. Ah, there we go. Bam. So that's what we're looking at. So that W, that double bottom, and can you see the head and shoulders, guys? There's a ting 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 breakout, but then there's still that shoulder. So really, in that sense, it's not as clean as a reverse head and shoulders with a level right shoulder, but it still gives us that pattern. So I'm gonna unshare and go back to trading view, because that's kind of what's happening over here at the moment. We might be coming back down, retesting this zone, and which will give us that right hand shoulder. And I mean, everything's still, red on the zones. So that was still counter trend. We had that divergence. But now, will we get, it'll be interesting to see if we break and get a new lower low. And then if a turnaround happens with any of this. So we'll see. We'll see. That's why we have rules, guys. Naz, Tim was saying, oh yeah, wow, there we go. And that is why I don't trade like that anymore. Because even though we got a double bottom on a key level and there was divergence, yeah, that just knifed through. So if anything, what was that sell signal like? Gold, let's check, is still okay, pulled back slightly, and now 55. So TP3, well, that's our signal. Could we have even taken it though? Yeah, wouldn't have gotten a point for that. That's what we said before. That's why they're, a little bit of a stop out of that one. But once we broke under here, closed below, and then this little rejection, that widening, MACD is now shuffling nicely. There would have been some temptation there, and then the next line of defense to look out for would have been something like that, closing. That would be obviously late, but you would have, just knifed through there. Love that head and shoulders comes through in addition to the wedge for double whammy. Yeah, so when that happens after the wedge, that's good. Would have taken out a stop loss before dropping sneaky. Yeah, and that's why, and what I said, Mark, was didn't have, you can see, if I draw it on there, I've got our Trump orange right now. Oh no, man, sorry guys, wrong button. Sync. At the time we were a blue trend zone on 3 time frames high on the MACD, so that would have kept us out of the signal. And I've often noticed that those signals will often still play out, like it'll still play out like this. But I find if I'm tempted to take a signal where you've got this, I mean, look, that we're still, 8 minute is still, everything's still down, very down. And those stop losses do often get hit, that get auto generated for us when the MACD 3 time frames higher is not in alignment. And so with that, then if your stop is at least a little higher, like above the more recent high, like there, you would have been safe. So, nasty entry pullback and then pulled away, but clearly that still played out nicely. From entry, 70 pips. Bam, bam. 70 pips, TP3. But yeah, if you were looking to join that, you would have needed some more savvy entries, like widening trend zone, crossover on the MACD right there, and then breaking below, rejecting teal, rejecting the trend zone, widening at this point. Could have been, looked like some range, but you could have also seen other things were still very much going. This key level would have deterred me from jumping in up there. That's just that. So that would have removed space for me in this red zone was also blocking us to TP1. Space is obviously the one thing that, you know, the rule I probably am most inclined to disobeying, as bad as that sounds. Like, you're going to find a pivot or a line, or you're going to find a line somewhere all the time. It's going to be something. So let's just check what the DXY is doing. Yeah, grinding up very slowly. Dow now giving us that right shoulder. Check that out. So I don't really ever draw like this, but go turn my magnet off to do this. Give me my drawing tool. Shoulder, head, shoulder. So that, and on like literally to the pip on 43,800. So let's see how I get rid of. Okay, there we go. Remove. I normally do this. Remove and remove. So right now, if we start to pull back up, the Dow could be in a potential place. This wedge, yeah, I'll keep that there just in case, you know, we've got some kind of a retest. But really now what we want to look at is my magnet first, and we want to look at this and see if, stretching my neck a little bit, we want price to, and look how much of it, sorry, my divergence line was making me see that as a channel, but I am going to do it and see if anything shows up. Not really, but I still love to draw these and see, because man, more often than not you end up finding, oh, this is where the magnet goes a little crazy. Yeah, not quite enough accuracy in that channel for me, but you kind of see that then if we do break lower, you'd be looking for this possible bounce off that. Let's just tidy this, let's use this divergence line in our favor and just draw them like that. And see if we get another lower low with divergence rejecting. That's now rolling. So I mean, guys, there's, you know, we didn't get a sell signal because when we crossed over here, we're below our 233, and the MACD. Why did we? Let's have a look here. That crossed. I'm not too sure why we didn't get a sell. There's probably another parameter that did. Well, there's our 3-minute sell signal going off. So high time frames of that, we don't get a tick because the 8-minute MACD is there and sitting right on a key level as well. Now double bottoming, so that's also a good sign if you're looking for this bigger swing up. So double bottom off that key level, off that triple bottom level. I mean, we did have, oh, look at that. I mean, that first touch that we had was where was that there? Pink. Oh, what's that pattern called? It's not a shooting star or something, but anyway, that kind of crazy doji, and then another third touch. But now at least getting us a double bottom, so a bit of a W. So if you really wanted to get all crazy on the lines, then, you know, there we go. We're looking to break this right now. If we break that, it'd be quite interesting to see if we can fire back up. But that 3-minute signal, you know, the Dow is still very red, and we could, you know, we didn't get that low, so that is over here. So that's the previous low on the Dow going back to the 5th of August. Happy birthday, oh no, Dad's birthday was the day before the 4th. Just make them a bit thicker, and we'll notice them a bit better. There, so there's no reason why, you know, price moves to cause the most people the most amount of pain. And there's a lot of people that trade patterns on their own without confirmations. And there we go, there's a London level over there, just in the midst of that move. And then we've got a much bigger one down here. So I haven't drawn on this big NAS chart in a while. Sorry, down. Yeah, that was a huge drop in NFP. Just seeing. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to go and see that. Okay, breaking above that first line, so double bottom. So this, if this is, this kind of W pattern, this is higher, this right hand low is higher than the left hand low, so we should break higher than this in theory if it's a XA. So W pattern that I'm talking about looks like this, this, this. So it's a harmonic pattern, but it's also a W, and so when you have X, A, B, C, D, when C is higher than A, D is often higher than X. So this would not surprise me in the slightest. And there's that wedge. Well, no, that's not the wedge. This is just the other trend line we've drawn in place. So very possible W pattern that could play out for us there. Obviously entering anything now is very risky, but that double bottom and the MACD crossing up for us as well. See what Heiken Nashi looks like. Yeah, giving us a nice flat bottom now on that candle. So if you're looking for that down move, guys, it's nothing more bullish than a failed bearish move. And that was a 3-minute signal that didn't meet the rules of the higher time frames. And so I call that a final push down potentially to a key level, because that was our 43,800. So if you're looking, ping, 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 Dow could be going up now. NAS, similar. Not. Yeah, that would have been a much tighter break of that trend line if you drew one in there. Dice double bottom of teal and pink on these higher time frames. So Dow's kind of leading the way potentially for us on those two this morning. And see how this plays out. Hopefully some of you guys are going to be able to get in on this. Buy signal will be showing up very soon. If we get a throwback, look, the angle on the 21 on the 3 is no good. And we're still red on there, but on the MACD trend zone, but we're green on the histogram bars. So, for paper trading sake with you all to take something, let's just get this guy loaded up, because we could get some over here. We'll wait and see. We're not quite in alignment on these high time frames yet. The 8's turning around, but we should get something potentially on the next candle. No, we're not going to. Silly me. We're under the 233. Sorry, guys. We're not going to get one. And a counter trend signal requires more parameters being met behind the scenes to make it safe. Like our 55 is not even bright either. So we're not getting one, but that would have been the candle that we would get one. Good angle on here. So look, just for, I'm clicking it for, what the hang? Sorry, they've redone this trading panel. Let's just do this. Where? Let's just adjust send order. Okay, sorry, I haven't used paper trading since they've updated this thing. Let's just make this smaller. Market instant execution. Okay, send order. I guess that's okay. There's the confirmation. Okay, let's just see. By no means like an amazing entry over here, but just to see if things play out. And right in front of it, that was not tight enough. That was just an automated stop that was on there. So Dow 30 pips is usually better than 20. go. What is the name of the W harmonic tool you just used? So it's this one, XABCD pattern, top one under patterns, Brennan. So you've got all sorts of other weird and wonderful things, but that's essentially the harmonic drawing tool, is the top one, XABCD pattern. And this is like a micro little thing right here. I mean, obviously seen this in a higher time frame, like here might be another one on the 3-minute chart. Let's see if, you know, something like that takes place. And, you know, need some confirmations for them, but yeah, I do like the angle. Stayed green on the 3, 8 still. It's this 8-minute that's still pointing down. That's still slowly rounding. That's, I think, causing a little bit of range for us right here. But, you know, 233 is up there. Let's see. 630. Gold moving back up slightly. Let's just see what Heiken actually looks like. I like this. The MACD looks nice. 3-minute needs to now, well, has turned. It just needs to. That's good. Retests with dojis are good. Back into, there we go. Let's go Dow. Dollar firing up now potentially, which is not as much good news for gold, which has pulled back. Got the TP3 there though. And it's now at that 233. A little bit of divergence there to maybe bounce off the 233, but if the dollar's breaking out, then might be not the time for gold to be making any significant moves. We'll see. There's the DXY going. NAS now starting to, you know, maybe give us the right hand side of the W potentially. Dow definitely leading us with that. Oh, excuse me, guys. And again, no signal here. This is just me, you know, to have an example to play with on a W pattern. If, you know, if we were above the 232, or if the 233 was below us, then we would have had a buy signal. And if it was, you know, meeting the rules in a nicer fashion, then it would have possibly been a nice signal to take. But just taking it for some educational purposes, there's a counter trend signal. So that's some good news for us, because yeah, going bright green on the 55, which means I think things are starting to move. So see how this is going to go. There we go, starting to. Okay. Let's see what our normal candles look like on here. Looking good. So we should get above X. Oh, excuse me guys, so many yawns. Apparently one coffee wasn't enough. Also a counter trend signal on our normal candles there. Need this 21 to start pulling up now. Hopping above 0. 3-minute is starting to get up. 8 minutes still looking nice. Need to get above the 21 on the 8. But there we go. That wick, it's quite a nasty wick. That's probably just some sellers sitting in that zone. But once we clear out of here, let's chuck on Heiken Ashi, see if we've got any full candles. So we don't need full candles yet. By full, I mean colored in green, and then bright green being the next level of power. But it's kind of cool that we've got this double W. So if I sync this guy, we'll see how we're within. So that's kind of cool. I like that. I remember doing this in crypto years ago. So you can see that we had a W within the right hand side of this W. So that's pretty awesome. So breaking above this high, this X over here. I wonder if there's a way to change the color of this one. Yeah. Let's make him green. I haven't done this in a long time. So hopefully you can all see what's going on here. Hollow don't follow. Exactly, Tim. So I mean, yeah, that's the saying. Like, it's lacking momentum. At the same time, you know, price action to me always beats the volume, and like essentially the shapes that are forming are gonna give me more information than the hollow. And I mean, yeah, whether the candles are hollow or filled in, if I turn it off, they're gonna go back to standard. They're still flat bottoms, which is good. But yeah, Dad's got good reason for all of his rules and the kinds of trades that he takes, and he would not be probably taking these. But for the sake of some education and knowing what I know, a little bit of fun with these patterns and just showing you guys a few extra things. Pretty cool that we got that double bottom right there. And I mean, look, this X on C on the 3-minute W is essentially just this zone right here. That's why that's happening. But it's kind of cool that it gave us a 1-minute double bottom out of there. So yeah, let's see if we can get out of this wedge, break above here, and hop to it. Just going to unsync this green W so we can have a little more, no sync, there we go, a little more clear space on this one. But there goes the down, which we are in over here. Got to break through this trend line next. Ping, ping. Got some color in our candles now. Perfect timing. There we go. Candle just filled. Yeah, you guys, sorry, you guys are all watching the chat closer than I am, but let's see. And look, considering the size of this wedge, guys, you know, we could really run once we get above, you know, the top of here. So I know we've got the 233 here, but I'm just gonna throw this guy up here at a bigger round number, 4,400. Leave him over there, and because that correlates to what? D on our 3-minute W. So, and again, no reason why this thing can't correct and just fully mirror this NFP drop off that took place. So let's see how this goes. And you guys will see, you know, both the red and blue lines here, the bid and the ask price. So under settings, that's why, in case some of you are wondering, 8-minute went is hanging around POC. Yeah, good body mark. I mean, but what I like about that is we've got the flat top red doji, flat bottom bullish. So there's our Heikin-Ashi reversal pattern that's played out over here. Start of the move. Now this one, and you can see this W within here too. It's kind of over here in terms of how that's playing out. So let's see. Really, there we go. Buyers entering the market. Nice MACD on the 8 forming up. And I can hear 640. I can hear taps and bathrooms above me. So kids are waking up. Pausing at that trend line. What I was going to show you though is that bid and ask price. Where are we? Under trading. Is it on here? No, scales and lines. Where are we? Here. So that's the value of the bid and asks on the right hand side. I've got the lines on plus the normal white line. You might just have the white line for price, which is going to be coming from the same place. That's not something I usually turn off, I suppose, but signal line. There we go. That's the standard one. So some people, I think on my normal setups, I usually actually would have that probably off to have a few less things going on and just have this, because those are the lines that are going to hit your TP or your stop loss. They're the ones that matter when you're trading. And I don't like having two price lines on the side, so I keep the white one in there like that, since I've been quite a few lines. But anyway, that's why I've got those two. So there's our pullback of that trend line. And 55, 8 minutes still looking good. 3 minutes now hopping up, so you know, still could very much be in play right here. Naturally, we've got to pull back because it's not like it's a super clear move with great angles or anything coming out of here. We'll see how that plays out. Counter trend signal got to TP1, to be fair. Let's see what NAS is doing. Look at that, key level, rejecting it. Still looking like it's going a little sideways. Excuse me. Actually looking quite bearish over here on this 3. Yeah. NAS, not quite. Oh, what am I doing? Let's put this thing on over here too so we can have Dad's fancy tables all the same, at least one on each thing. So yeah, Dow is still stuck in between NAS. You can see gold and everything else is more above. I mean, it's the 1 hour and the 4 hour on the Dow, which, you know, those moving averages are going to be somewhere else, possibly close by. Yeah. Only really starting to look a little green on, you know, up to the 5. And still underneath all the moving averages. So, you know, 233s here, teal and pink purple are all out there. So if you're looking to rejoin a sell on something like this, I'd like a touch it to the 233 before considering a sell. But we're just seeing if these W's are going to play out inside these wedges on the Dow. Otherwise, we might just be stopped out on this right here. Got this one green trend line in here. Probably going to be the end of that one at the moment. Let's go and just check on gold. Another buy signal. Let's see how that just double jumping off the 233. Interesting. Yeah, I mean all red on the 3 minute chart, so that doesn't meet the rules over there, you can see. In case it's not abundantly obvious. Red, and the angle of the 21 is definitely not pointing in the right direction. So that buy signal would be a no-go. But if we can now at least get a good bounce, oh no, this is DXY is probably going up. Yeah, there you go. Popping. So that is sending it now out of our massive wedge. We've come out, rejected pink, and then come back down and rejected the 233 perfectly on this 3 minute chart, and now making a move up. So this is the dollar versus everything, and be interesting to see now how, oh excuse me, looking pretty green. Just still a bit orange over here. So 3 minute is orange. Let me just make this bigger, guys, so everyone can actually see this chink, because that is tininess. There we go. So on the 1 minute, we're green, so we're above all the moving averages on the 1 minute. That's why ZA is green, and Dad did a whole thing on Tuesday night on zone alignment. So we are above teal as of now, so green for zone alignment on the 1 minute. 21 angle is pointing to like 130 on the clock. The trend zone is obviously blue, and the MACD is blue as well. So that's why we've got 4 greens. We're above teal, we're above pink, we're above we're above everything. So lots of clear space on the 1 minute chart. If we go to the 3 minute, it was still showing orange because we are underneath pink and teal, but we're above the 233. So that's going to be orange for a while until we get above him. If we go to the 5 minute, just kind of showing you how all these traffic lights play out and why. We are similar placings for pink and teal. So once we get above this zone, we will be well out of the wedge and then all green. And that's, expect like some kind of break and probably a retest and something like that. But I mean the 8 minute, the 15 minute, and then we're still under on the 1 hour and the 4 hour because of that big drop off. So, well, it's probably gonna be flat through the middle here. Let's see, because it's been zigzaggy. So let's see where these higher moving averages are. I reckon pretty flattish. When they load, not loading, not enough data. Come on, it's a bit annoying. Let's see if it's gonna do it for us. Otherwise, we'll jump to the 4 hour. Not enough data. Get it. 4 hour, maybe. There we go. So the 4 hour, they're way up there. And the 1 hour, they'll probably just be a bit lower. But yeah, I mean, sheesh, under the 233 right now. So this is the DXY on the zoomed out approach. Back to that 3 minute. And let's go check out Dow. Did we bounce? We bounced. Whew. Yep. When I was trading the Dow a lot, 30 pips was my normal stop, and it saved us there. So we'll see failed sell signal, which did not meet the rules as well, because we can see that we're blue on the trend zone on the MACD over there, and it was red on the main trend zone. But let's see. It's at least a higher low. So lower lows, higher low, and higher low. So that's good. So now we want to see higher highs, because we're now just compressing. We want to break above this high and see this thing centered out of here. NAS, I think, starting to still, I like the 3 minute MACD shape starting to form there. Good angle. Divergence, lower highs and high highs on here, which, let's see, Tim, the other Tim, got a roll. Thanks, Ty. One of those mornings. Yeah, just waiting for things to line up. Have an amazing day. Thanks for covering my back last Friday, which I still to this point have no idea what happened to my alarms, but it's quite funny. My wife rolled over at like whatever it was, it was like 3 minutes before my alarm at 4:45, and she was like, "Is your alarm? You've got your Zoom?" And I was like, I checked. It was like 2 minutes to go till my alarm. Brendan took 53 pips on the small W. There we go, and walking away. Nice one, mate. Let's get back on that. There we go. I mean, that small W was there, breaking that trend line. Look, pretty risky. But if you were going, I'm just trying to hold this on TP1. So I mean, 53 pips. Yeah, you were somewhere in that bullish candle, around 627, I imagine. So good stuff, man. Glad to hear you got it. Let's now see if this W plays out and we get out of this wedge. And what I like to do, if I'm going to clean things up, is I will turn off the magnet, grab a little normal trend line, and just do something like that, and then delete that one, and oh goodness me, no, don't do that. Delete that one and just make him thinner and just clean up the chart a bit. And this wedge is a similar story at the moment. Broke out of him, we haven't retested anything, but we need to see, yeah, I'm starting to around, see now at least a 3 minute, and the 8 is flat. I mean, look guys, we might even, 2 hours to go still until the market close. Mark, your question, sorry, what was the W rule? Yeah, okay, so rule more like a common prediction point for harmonic patterns. So X, A, B, C, D. If C is higher than A, very often D will be higher than X. So you get that higher low and the higher high. So C higher than A equals D higher than X. That's why we could, well, that's why this played out. What am I saying? Let's just move him over, shall we? Bing. That totally played out. And we even had a counter trend signal to get us in a TP, which was tiny and a little bit annoying, but we saw this and Brendan took 53 pips from it, so love it. Now we just want this bigger one to play out because we have X, A, B, C, D on 4400, which is also our 233. Up here, that's where our X is, right up there for the D for this 3 minute pattern. Looking good. Counter trend signal, guys, if you are getting in now, this is where you got another counter trend signal and you could, add to the position. Let's just see if this is going to work for us. Bing. Let's get it, guys. Come on. That just, what did that do? That add, it doesn't, paper trading doesn't give me another entry, but that's very, no, that one would have been somewhere up here. So now we have added, and can't quite tell that we've added. Did that even go through? No, rejected because of the size of this paper trading account. Okay, that's annoying. Let's just try and add something for, there we go. There we go. Now we're in. There we go, now we've got 2. So that's looking good. It's looking real good. Got some red zones, which is a nene for space, but 55 is bright. We've got a counter trend signal. We've got a TP. We're above the 233, the 55 on the 3, and this W, this breakout, this wedge. I'm liking it. So what's the DXY doing? Quick. Pausing. Gold still pulling back. Going sideways. NAS just checking to see how things are responding. NAS is now starting to make a move underneath the wedge, underneath the trend line still. So that's risky. And still haven't got the 3 minute trend zone to line up. But Dow is looking like the go. So let me just get this out of the way. Hopefully you guys can make bank on this. Yeah, I like to look at those candles. They're full. They're flat bottoms. Haven't got full candles yet on our higher time frames, but we've got a nice MACD pattern on the 3 minute there, starting to slope up. Still now going bright green. Got triangle up on the 8 minute. Yeah, let's see if it's going to be the dirty 30 and just pull back on us and be nasty, or if it's going to play out for us. NAS crossing array. What have I drawn on there? Okay, I actually have I set an alert on this. No, this train line. So we're at the train line, guys. So NAS is now sitting right on its trend line. We're above here. That's a really good. We're bright and beautiful. Under teal. So we need like a whatever break above teal and a retest as such before that becomes polite to take. There's not as much space either at all with the red zone there in 263, but And that's now quite an aggressive bounce out, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice retest. But yeah, I'm getting ka-ching sounds in my ears from the alerts I set on him. But Dow, okay, got a white candle. Let's see. So our first entry, I think, was here, and what's happened when I click buy again on this paper trade, I think it moved it up. So yeah, that's why that's now above our original entry zone, which was in this candle here with the blue arrow. Adding to it on this pullback, and let's just check that candle. I bet you it's an engulfing bounce. No, where are we? Well, that one kind of. Well, that one was. Sheesh. Here we go. Let's go, Dow. Yes, our white candle wasn't really below the moving averages there. There we go. Green lightning bolts. Mark, I saw your hands. Hopefully you're making some money there, right? Yep, he's nodding. I love it. Oh, we're up, guys. I love this. This is counter trend signal on the 3. Now we're green and blue and all things wonderful. 8 minutes. It's time to turn. We could still get a pullback because we're at the 233 right in front of our faces, and the 8 minutes still needs to actually turn up. But I'm liking this. Lightning bolts. We need to get above the center point. Now, no, where are we? No, here. Yeah, okay, we're done now. Now we're above B. So 3 minute XAB CD. So we're above our midpoint there where we had our divergence and rejection, which we called out. That's just, clear the chart up as much as we can. But we saw that coming. And nice little spike above. We need to close above to really get this red zone turning green for us. I like how the 3 minute though is giving us the CT signal, and it's full colors. Zone is wide on that trend up MACD, and our TP on that counter trend signal is up in this red zone, up in like 43,950. So it's looking good, as long as I could probably even move my stop up to below this counter trend base. Let's just see how. Hopefully we can get a bounce off here. So hopefully this, which was a ceiling, is now support, and we're going to bounce out of here. There we go. Flick them onto Heikin Ashi again. Got the stop loss warning candle, but let's just see. Getting a little bit of distance from the zone, so maybe a pullback and bounce. Again, said that because that 8 minute is still very much horizontal / bright red apparently. So there's some factors there that are sucking us back towards that average. And just remember, zone alignment, we're still underneath everything. So that's the nature of reversals, or the beginning of a move. What about gold? Gold is sideways and down. So the dollar is still breaking up. So look, like I said, this is a huge wedge pattern, guys. So this dollar, the DXY, can break out of this. This is the NFP drop, breaking above. If we can clear this and the dollar can have a run, then gold's going to drop like a dead fly potentially. There we go. What did I say? I've taken some pips and walking away before I give them back. Thanks, Ty. Awesome stuff, Sam. Glad you got them. Yeah, gold right here meets criteria now to be selling with a 3 minute. Got space as well. This could come down to 85 quite easily, or even this trend line, 84-ish. So let's go back to the trade we're actually in right now. But yeah, all these rolling. It's looking rangy to me though, guys. I know it's breaking under the 233, but what I'm seeing is, I'm not tempted. I still think the bigger move is up to here. And remember, Trump speaking in an hour on the dot. So it's 7 a.m. I'm probably going to have to wrap up soon because I can hear footsteps above me and you get eggs and bacon happening and tennis lessons and all that kind of fun stuff. But let's see. I'm still, there you go. We'll get a little retest-ish. Oh, I love it. Come on. Come on, Dow. So what are we up? 24. From our entry. 40. That's cool. There you go. 40 pips up from my entry. I don't know why that's saying that. Let's adjust this thing. Where are we? Ticks. That's irrelevant. Yay, $60. More paper trading. Ticks. Yeah, it's different. I don't know why. That does not. I don't know why it's saying 28 or 2,100 ticks when. Unless it actually threw us in there, and that was. Oh no, that's when I pushed it again. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it actually is where it threw us in. It's kind of horrible. Mark, all right, walked away with some pips. Have a good one, Ty. Oh, dude, good. I can see your face, and yeah, you can't see me. I'm in the dark. I don't know if you. Where am I? Well, I'm not in the dark, but I'm pretty dark, and I haven't got my fancy camera all set up. I got my slide on one, so if you can see me. Have a good day. Yeah, not used to seeing me from a laptop camera, but yeah.
Oh, it's cool, man.
Nice
Anyway,
one.
have a good night. Have a good day. I'm going to sleep in a moment.
Sleep well, bro, and hopefully the pips keep
Thanks.
coming. And
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
yeah, see you.
Bye.
Okay, alerts. Naz crossing that ray, so Naz is having another crack. There we go. I like that engulfing candle down there. There we go. What did I say? Pullback retest. If this is an engulfing candle and it gets above teal, that would be a nice thing to possibly join, because now look, we were blue on the trend zones 3 time frames higher. So we've crossed over. Doji retesting pink on the 3. The 8 is still obviously horrible with that angle, but at least the MACD's crossed. So this would be a nice early entry on NAS. A little risque. Breaking that trend line, which is the most accurate thing in the world, to be honest. That's let's take him to the top and attach him to the lowest low. I mean the high before the lowest low. So that being the lowest low, go back to the origin point. That's your second point for your trend line. So we broke him there. Oh, okay, look, Dad will be proud. There's Dad's automated trend line for us being drawn on there. And yeah, we shot out from that. Had some rejections over here based on all the different moving averages. We're touching the 21 on the 8, the 55 on the 3, teal on the 1. And now, yeah, and there's a little bit of divergence. A little hard to see this divergence, but it's there. So, yeah, what am I doing? Where in the hang is what's going, oh, there, sheesh, it's weird. So, lower high and higher highs. So that might be a little bit of our reasoning for that, which might be a little obvious on a higher time frame, but well, yeah, sorry, what am I doing? It's right here, there it is. I think I said this earlier on the 3 minute. Lower highs over there on the 3, higher highs in the MACD equals bearish divergence pullback. And actually what I wanted to do, I wanted to go in and turn it on. Histogram divergence lines. Let's see, they should pop up now. MACD bearish bullish. There we go. Let's see. Okay, draw me something. Okay, it's drawing the previous ones. I'm not drawing this one for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's definitely there. There might be some fancy reasons why it doesn't, but anyway. Let's keep it clean. So NAS, we did have what was our other trend line that we had drawn? We had it from somewhere else, but I don't think it's as relevant. We have got a W over here though with, no, we want this. So from this drop off zone here, we have got some of that, and that would get us to bumping into the 233 on the 8. So that could be a spot for NAS once we get, if it continues up like that. Gold still, oh yeah, okay, found a little bit of a bottom. And it's probably just going to range now until the close. Okay, breaking that trend line, going bright green. Let's see what he looks like. Still red on that trend zone. Wonder what Trump's talking about at 8 o'clock. Let's check our Dow pulling back. Well, pulling back to that trend line would be no surprise. Or this to 55, we'll see. Another couple minutes, guys, and then I'm going to probably have kids and breakfast and all that fun stuff. But Dow, I just don't know, with a couple hour and 51 minutes to go and Trump speaking over here. Not sure how markets are gonna, well, he's speaking 1 hour before the close. He's probably going to be all pro-America, this and that, so that would potentially send the dollar and all things American, like the Dow. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. So who knows, maybe we're just going to actually range a little bit and grind towards this point here. And then maybe Trump will send us, but an hour to go, I don't know. We'll see. What did that folder actually say? I've got it. It's an orange one. It says, due to speak about National Purple Heart Day at the White House. Okay. Interesting. US President January 2007, January 2021, January 2025, January 2029. I don't know what that is. He speaks frequently on a broad range of subjects. Only speeches that might have direct market impact are listed on the calendar. Okay, well, you know, if it's National Purple Heart Day, I'm assuming he was kind of talking about war. Who knows? And then we haven't got, we've got some yellow folders during the day. The next red folder is unemployment change at 12:30, and it's Canadian stuff. So, not much more this week in terms of big news, but you can check Forex Factory while I was reading that. Okay, Dow. And again, guys, I mean, the Dow is probably the worst in terms of zone alignment. It's all red on here except for the 4 hour. But our MACD is interesting. It's H1. Oh no, there we go. It's orange. So orange on H1, orange on H4. Excuse me, orange, and then 15.5. And we can see all things red because we're still under all of these guys. But remember, those are averages that we should return to at some point. And man, this wedge, it's now, actually now that we've got that, let me just try something. Oof. Now that's why I like to draw. Just playing around, seeing what I can match up. But that doesn't look too inaccurate. Highs, highs, lows, 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 lows. And so, yeah, that rejection, you could have drawn this parallel channel based on these lows as well before. Like if you just draw it on the lows, oh goodness, not that. Your first two across the low, and then, first two across that high, because that's a significant high in the midst of this rejection. And then you would have had this line sitting there. But we're stuck inside of what was a wedge, which is now, I'm going to call, this channel. We need to get above that channel. So retest this trend line maybe. And then maybe send it. We'll see. Danny, thanks for analysis, Ty. Love the gold zoomed look. Cool. Hopefully for the big breakout. Regarding NAS, would you trade it with the red, orange, and green zone alone before? No, probably not. Yeah. I mean, it's had some. Yeah, where was NFP for NAS? Is it here? So NAS had a much different approach. So Dow 130 on Friday the 8th. Oh man, where am I looking? What happened to the NAS with NFP? It was here, wasn't it? Friday the 1st? What was I getting wrong? That drop off, that's Friday the 8th on this 50-minute chart. That's today. Stiazen, what are you doing? NFP was, that was the other day. Where are we? Sorry guys, I'm trying to give my break. Okay, there we go. Trying to see what happened with the NAS. So that was Saturday the 2nd, that's right. It was last week, Friday night. So going back to NAS, Saturday the 2nd was Friday night. Yeah, so this was, that was, okay, so NFP was here and it dropped significantly. So, and then just continued. And so we've come up halfway into the all-time high. Are we in all-time high kind of zones right now? I don't know. That's a pullback. Let's do some fibs. We haven't really done any fibs, have we? Let's turn him off. And check this out. So there's this pullback. I drew this a while ago. So because of that pullback, I drew the fib. Did we get 1.618? Ka-chink. Did we get 236? Ka-chink. I mean, guys, you cannot make that stuff up. So in case you're not seeing it, we were up here testing that trend line, and I like to draw fibs like that when we have a significant pullback, because it shows me multiple things. When we come back up, it's going to show me where price might likely stall. So a couple of things with this, magnet tool off. We want to know a couple of zones. We want to know these 6, 1, 8, and the 55. And so there we go. We got stuck, pushed down, broke above, fired out, retest, bounce out. So there's that zone, and I like to draw those red or green. In this case, red, because it was what we'll call devil's advocate zone, because it's drawing it backwards. Then the next one we want to know about is 786, 886, and sure enough, interesting, got above him. But yeah, I just wanted to show you these extensions. So drawing that gave us the 1.618 here, and we wicked it, guys. I mean, I want to drag this out to really accentuate this. But check this out. We literally wicked it in that candle and then pulled back. And then went on to create an all-time high. And the candle before, it was a 50-minute candle, one candle before the all-time high, we broke that 236 extension and then dropped. So yeah, my fib settings are in the system PDF if you haven't got them. So that's a pullback, right? So I drew that on a pullback. Now, what's our current pullback situation? Well, the next biggest pullback I see worth noting is this one. So I'm going to do something like that. I just want to see something first. Wow. You know, zone, key level, right? Tink, 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 tink. Bounce, bounce, pause, rejection, not much of a pause, and then bounce. Hey, buddy. Hey, I'm just on Zoom, dude. What's up?
Okay.
Yeah, soon. Mr. Sun's coming up in 13 minutes, okay?
So which one was this?
I'll come check up, but you gotta let me do this. I'm finishing up.
We started.
Okay, that's okay.
But can
okay.
we do it so
Okay, okay. I'll come see in a minute. I'm just on Zoom with people. Can you see? Just finishing up. Okay, just hang on a second, bud. I'm coming now. Yeah, you can if you're nice and quiet. All right, guys. We've got some guests. So, interesting. That's why I like to check out key levels. So, drew that across because I had a feeling. Now, this fib. Sorry, Danny. Danny's probably gone, but let's get this magnet on here. All-time high, low. Yeah. So that's where we just rejected. So check this out. That's where we just rejected. So that's 786 level. So now they'll give us our extensions. So the next bunch of all-time highs, hang on, Joshi, we can expect could be up here and up here. And I'm going to keep those on. And now, whether I have the fib or not, there we go. We visit from the future traders. Yeah, Geordie normally pays more attention. He's still sleeping, but my younger middle two. Yes, bud, I'm almost done. So there's my stuff, guys. That's just chuck a magnet on M2 and a trend line underneath because we've definitely got some action in there. Like that, double touch. So we haven't actually touched him yet, but that would be a very normal place. Let's just sync him up. There we go. And I definitely want to sync up this guy because that's where we're going to see some traffic next time. Again, but Naz, yeah, I need to, in terms of the pullback that we've had now, going from low to high, we're sitting, we've bounced off the 382, so that strong trends bounced off 382, so you can see there, pretty much almost to the wick. I mean, I didn't actually line him up bang on, but anyway, there we go. So yeah, guys, that's not the deepest pullback, but it is still a pullback to a level that makes that fib active. So yeah, that's also looking like a channel. That's how you just see these things everywhere. So from, going from there to there, we're in a wee, yeah, there, that's, look at that. It's going to turn this magnet off to pull them further back. But there we go, because we've got these lines here. It's crazy how this works, right? Like rejecting and playing around there, coming down, testing. Yeah, so, oh, easy guys. So, yeah, that's where the NAS is at the moment. The Dow, what's the Dow done? So yeah, the NAS, hey, easy, you two, hey, easy. So, I know, can we not fight this early in the morning? Okay, Dow is still, well, a little sideways, but could possibly, maybe eventually move in the direction that we're saying with this bigger W. But yeah, guys, gold moving back up. I like that. And yeah, might have to leave it there. All right, guys, enjoy the day and trade safe. We will see you in the chat over the next couple of days. Dad's in Taiwan. I'm sure he won't be able to help himself to jump in there a little bit when he can, but Dow, here we go. So, oh my goodness, right on that channel right now. So, looking better, but we'll shut her down there. All right, enjoy the day, everyone, and we'll catch you soon. See ya.